bud. How are you? You alright? You being cute? Hello, patrons, and welcome to the January monthly exclusive Patreon video. This is being recorded January 2nd, albeit pretty late January 2nd. And the hope is as soon as I'm done, I will release it to you and it'll be out January 2nd. This is being recorded on the phone like I did last month. It does get it out to you much sooner. This is a little different. Last month I recorded it on the phone with the front-facing camera, and then I learned that apparently the front-facing camera and the rear-facing camera are wildly different in terms of quality. So this month I'm doing the rear-facing camera. So it's still easy. The difference is I can't see what I'm shooting, although with the vlog camera I normally can't. But it should look better. So that's the hope. We have quite a few things to talk about, and I'm super excited to talk about all of them. There's been a lot going on. There's been quite a few things. I mean, things I feel personally haven't really stopped for us since the hurricane came. Ever since the hurricane, things have just kind of been like diddly 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 diddly. There's been one thing after the other, but things are finally slowing down. January is kind of our first month where it's like we can breathe a big sigh of relief. And there's something coming up that I'll tell you about at the very end of this Patreon video that will be, I think, truly a relaxing time, which is exciting. So first off, Merry Christmas. I know I wished you Merry Christmas, but hopefully all of you had a wonderful Christmas. We had a wonderful Christmas. I'll talk a little bit about that in the video for today. So first things first, what happened in December? A few major things happened. For one, Walking Dead Michonne finished, which I really enjoyed. For anyone who didn't see it, you don't have to watch the other Walking Dead content. So even if you're not like a fan of the Walking Dead stuff that we were doing, you can just watch the Michonne videos if you want to try it out. It's basically all of the Walking Dead videos with the yellow border. Tried to differentiate them visually like that. But it was fun, and that actually is that marks the end of Walking Dead on the channel for a while, because we will not be covering The Walking Dead season 3 until season 3 is completely finished, which is going to take a few months. It's going to take a few months to do that. So they'll probably be finished with that by like May. So I would say that, you know, The Walking Dead will return to Stephen Plays, but it won't be until maybe early summer. Next thing of interest is that we started and finished the Inside Let's Play. In November we did Limbo, and that was just a tiny little short LP, and then we followed it up with the company's second game, which was Inside. No spoilers from me. Inside was crazy. It was a ride. It was a real ride. Now, a lot of people have been asking if Mal's going to do a painting from Inside. She has some ideas from it. I'll say that. It's not something that she's like, you know, yes, I'm doing this, but she keeps a log of like all of her different ideas. She'll take screenshots and get visual things from different games and different scenes that she enjoys. And she does have some from Inside. So that's not like coming immediately. I know a lot of people thought since we played Limbo, she painted Limbo, that we'd play Inside and she'd play Inside. That there could be an Inside painting in the future, but it's not happening right this second. Great game though. Highly recommended. The other major thing that happened is NES Classics happened. We did that every single day for a month besides the 31st. A lot of people were thinking that we might do something on the 31st. And originally, Dan, because Dan is the one that edited that entire series, Dan was thinking of doing a special video for the 31st. But between him visiting his family for Christmas, getting back, and us being like, hey, do Halo, he didn't have time to do it. But he did a fantastic job. And I think what was so exciting is that he really got a chance to have some fun with the series. When we were doing GTA Online, I know he edited all those, and he had a little bit of fun, but for the most part, it kind of was following a certain guideline. But he was able to, with the NES Classics, like decide when he wanted to cut just to face cam. He was able to make up like these ridiculous fun facts for each video that he had on screen. There's one moment, I'm sure many of you saw it, where I asked Dan for a death counter, and he speaks in the video as if he's there and then animates it on screen. So he had a ton of fun with it, and it was just a good sign of things to come for Dan doing, you know, series for us, editing for us. So that was exciting. Speaking of GTA Online heists, finished, so those are all done. GTA Online is not done. It will be resuming at some point in the future, but it's finished for right now. Um, we uh, we did visit Emil, and while we were visiting Emil, I recorded another Pikmin episode with him. So if you haven't seen that, you can go over to the Chugga Conroy channel. Um, we play a multiplayer Pikmin 3 map, and it's kind of Christmas themed. We do okay. It's been a while since I had put on my Pikmin shoes, but we did all right. And then I also recorded a first 20 of Splatoon with him for our channel because he's been doing his Splatoon Let's Play. The cat was making a strange noise, and I just realized he's laying in a box. Mal's been putting together some IKEA stuff. Um, I'm just going to deviate very quickly. We went to IKEA today. We've had Alex and Haley with us, and we went to IKEA today. We've been gone pretty much all day up in Charlotte, and then we got back. And on the drive back, I was like, man, I'm really tired. Well, when we walked in the door, I laid down in the beanbag. I laid down for like just a second. And when I woke up, it had been like 90 minutes, and Mal had put together all the stuff that we bought. And I was like, how long was I out? And I looked at my phone. I was like, I've been asleep for 90 minutes. So I was tired. I just got up from a nap, and I feel a lot better. Anyway, but we did visit the meal, and one of the cool things that we did while we were there, and I wasn't sure if this was going to happen. I think I may have mentioned it in the last video, but we recorded a D&D session with the Runaway guys. So Emil, Tim, John, Masay, and then Mao and myself, we all did D&D. I was the DM, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to be released, if it's going to be released largely unedited or if it's going to be cut up into like special moments or both. I may do both. But at some point that's gonna come out. The file for the whole thing is just sitting on my desktop right now, so I'm gonna probably release that with that vlog, which means that when I get to that vlog, it'll take a few days to come out because it's like a 2-hour thing. But it's really cool. I mean, it was fun. Actually, I think the entire thing was improvised. I don't think there was any elements that weren't, which was kind of fun for me. I've never done anything like that as a DM. I basically, at the beginning of the game, said, all of you guys are sitting in a tavern, and this guy comes up to you and starts talking about this quest that they need you to do in the next town over, and he asks you what you know about the town, which let the players contribute to the world and decide what that town was like. And it produced some really wacky results, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, so the next thing was, since we did visit the meal, we did like a little gift exchange. One of the things that he gave us, we did a gift exchange. We exchanged some gifts, and then on top of that, Emil also let me borrow one of his 3DS capture devices. I don't know if anyone knows, he has several. I think he has 4. So he let me borrow one, probably just kind of like a long-term borrowing thing. So if we want to make 3DS recordings, we can. Now, I did a test of this, and we recorded Super Mario 3D Land for First 20. And it was only then, after I did it, I was like, oh, wait, when you blow a 3DS game up to 1920 by 1080, it doesn't look the greatest. So it's not the most beautiful thing in the world. Emulation would certainly look better. But we have the capability now of at least recording natively 3DS titles, and that's pretty neat. And I guess by extension, DS titles. So, I asked for input on that video for, future First 20s or anything like that. So we may do some more of that in the future. Then there was Christmas. And Christmas was fantastic. It was pretty typical George Christmas, very quiet. We took the cats over. We had a good time. We had a lot of good food, and that'll be on the vlog at some point. I also wanted to say a special shout out to patrons who sent us gifts. Sans mail, because I know there's still Christmas gifts from you guys in the mail, and I'm looking forward to them. We haven't gotten to that yet, but a lot of people sent us some people sent us gift cards through email for various things. Some people sent us quite a few people sent us Steam games. I just want to let you know that we received them, and we really do truly appreciate it. So thank you. I thought that was just so kind-hearted to receive that kind of stuff, on top of you guys pledging every month. So thank you. I really do appreciate that. And also there's quite a few games that were sent that I had been thinking about doing like First 20s on them anyway. So there's at least a few that I'm already like, okay, I was thinking about doing this. Now we have it. We're probably going to cover that. So then the next big thing, because December was a crazy month, Alex and Haley visited, and they have been here since 2 days after Christmas. So they arrived on the 27th of December, and then they left today. You know, we went to Charlotte last night, spent the night there, and then this morning we got up and took them to the airport. Then we went over to IKEA and took care of some stuff. So they were here, and we did in fact record the entirety of Super Mario 3D World for the Nintendo Wii U. We only had time to do the first 8 worlds, which is like the main game. Then there's 4 additional worlds that are like the secret game. So we're going to release these 8 worlds as part of a Let's Play, and if people are enjoying it, then, you know, one day in the future when they're back, because I'm sure they'll be back to visit, we'll record the last 4. And I figured that was probably a good idea. It's funny, I'll say that. I really enjoyed it. It's also the first time we've ever done a 4-player Let's Play, and it went pretty well. We actually, I announced it a few months ago, but we bought the extra equipment. Like, we bought 2 more mic stands, 2 more mics, 2 more pop filters, 2 more shock mounts, 2 more XLR cables, all this stuff to make it sound as good as possible. And I just got everything together and started listening to it, and it sounds good. It does sound good, and I'm excited to actually jump in and edit it. For anyone wondering, there are 14? I think there's 14 episodes to the Let's Play, as, you know, 8 worlds. So it's coming at some point in the future. I'm probably going to release some other things first, but I would say that it will probably start releasing by February or March, so in the near future. Then we had a New Year's Eve party. Because we have things finally, you know, put together enough around here to host a party, we decided that we would do that, and we had quite a few people over here. I would start to try and list everyone, but there's a lot. We probably had 14 people or more here, and that was really cool. In fact, we haven't really gotten everything completely put away, so if there's some stuff like on the counters and things like that, that's why. But it was a lot of fun. We set up the table, like, we haven't played D&D here yet, which I'll talk about soon. But the D&D table, we figured was going to go over here, and we just set it up like, you know, we planned to play D&D, and we had people sitting there for food, and we played Magic. We got the Jackbox, like the You Don't Know Jack games for the TV, and we were able to play them on the TV with everyone. It was really fun. It was a lot of fun, and it helped me realize that, for one, we had outgrown the other place, but that we would be able to do that sort of thing here, and it would work. We also have, I think we have all of the necessary stuff to stream, maybe, like in the living room. I'll have to double check, but if we do, then we could in the future potentially stream like those Jackbox games, and I think that would be a lot of fun as well. And then finally, the last thing I have on here for December was Malmakes finished 1 year. You guys may recall that she started the channel and started releasing content in January, a year ago, and she has worked through all of that for a year. She's been doing her channel for a year. For the first 6 months, she was doing it simultaneously with her job at school as a high school art teacher. It was unrelentingly difficult for her to have the strength to do all of that, but she managed. She ultimately ended up leaving her job and then doing this last 6 months full-time Malmakes, and she's loved it. So there's a little video over on Malmakes if you haven't already seen it. Highly recommend it. It's just a short, like 3 or 4 minute video, and it looks back on every single piece she made, and then she's also now offering a calendar. So if you're interested in wall calendars, she has a calendar with like 13 of her most popular and best-selling pieces, and you should check it out. You can go to youtube.com/Malmakes. So that's everything that's happening in December. Let me kind of readjust my hand here because I think I'm actively getting carpal tunnel. There we go. Still kind of hurt, but that's all right. So now let's talk about what's happening in January, which is a lot shorter. January, fortunately, is a lot less busy than December. December was crazy. So Halo 3 already started. That technically should go in the December section, but Halo 3 started on New Year's Eve, and it is the first main series to be edited by Dan, who is doing, so far a fantastic job with it. On the first episode, there was a few people that were like, there's some weird echoey audio, which was understandable because Dan is just starting on editing main series. Our mic setup for the main series was different than NES Classics and GTA Online, so he's never edited something like that. So after I heard the first episode, I said, I know that we're pressed for time on this. I'm going to release this, but I'll show you what to do for future episodes so it doesn't happen. So I got the second episode, and I've scrubbed through it, and it sounds a lot better. So if anyone noticed that echoey audio, should be fixed for this next time. Also, I just realized, am I cupping the mic? I actually don't know where the mic is. I don't know if the mic is up here or it's down here. I have no idea. Hopefully you guys can hear me just fine. So yeah, that's Dan's first foray into the main series, which is really cool. Now the next series that's coming out, if you've been wondering, because today we released a first 20, and normally it would be where we start a new series, and the series that we're going to be starting is Firewatch. We have read a lot of really good things about Firewatch, and apparently it's phenomenal. It's a very short indie game, kind of like what we were doing with Limbo and Inside. It also feels strange to be doing all these little games because we normally cover slightly longer material. But we've been interested in playing Firewatch. We kind of need a little buffer to get some more stuff done, and we were like, why don't we do Firewatch? So we haven't started recording that yet, but that's the plan. We're going to be releasing the first episode of that on Thursday. Stay tuned for that. From what I've read, it should be short, like less than 10 episodes, kind of like Limbo and Inside was. But apparently, once again, the game is like phenomenally good. So I guess we'll find out. After Firewatch, we're probably going to be doing Pikmin 2. Halo 3, as long as people are enjoying it, is going to be followed up immediately with Halo ODST because both games are not super, super long. So we're probably going to do both of those Halo games back to back. And then Pikmin 2 is going to be probably right around the corner. It might follow up Firewatch. And if it does, then there's a high possibility it could release in January. We've never played Pikmin 2, so that's going to be interesting because we're going to be going into it blind, but I think it'll be a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with the first one. Other notable things for January, this technically happened in December on New Year's Eve, but Lindsay's back. She's been gone for 6 weeks visiting family back in Wisconsin, but she's back and it's just good to have her back. I know that there are a few of you who have been desperately wanting to know when D&D was going to come back. D&D has mostly been off the radar because things have been so busy, not just for us, but for everyone else. I am very happy to tell you that D&D will be streamed. It's going to be the final session of this campaign that Thomas made. It's going to be streamed on the 13th of January, which is a Friday. I know that's a little weird because we've been doing them on Saturdays, but it's the only day Thomas was free, so we are doing it on a Friday. So Friday the 13th, January, we're going to be doing D&D. We're going to be doing it in here. I got to figure out how to make sure I get everything set up for streaming. We did do an art stream with Haley. Mao and Haley did one together in here, so I know that we can at least stream in here. I just got to get it set up for what we're going to need to do for D&D. But it is going to be the final session. Right now it looks like I think mostly everyone is going to be able to be here. Hopefully everyone will be because, we've only had these 3 videos. But once again, it'll be completely streamed. You'll be able to watch it. And just one final note, I believe it's going to start early. Thomas said in order to finish everything in this one session, and he needs to finish it in just one more session, more on that in the future, we're going to have to start really early. So it may even start as early as 10. And some of you are thinking, I have school or work, and it'll be on YouTube later, is the only thing I can tell you. It's literally the only day in January Thomas had, and we really need to get to it. And then finally, and this is a big question for you guys, and hopefully I can make my case and it'll be okay. Last year, in 2015, I think we were about halfway through the year, maybe a little less, and I made the decision. I didn't make the decision. I brought it to you guys, and then we were able to talk it through and agree on it to remove day numbers from the titles. So instead of saying day number blah, 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 it now just has the date. I completely stand by that. I feel like that was a positive move. And the reason that we had gotten rid of them was the fact... Sorry, my hand is killing me, so I'm trying to figure out... There we go. Oh, I just switched hands. It makes more sense. So the reason that we got rid of the day numbers was that, I always kind of knew that it was a problem for people, like inhibiting them from watching videos, because if you see something and you think it's a part of a series that contains 2,000 videos, you might be a little less likely to watch it. And I was worried that that was hurting us. And then after we got rid of them, we had so many people talk about that and be like, yeah, actually, for the longest time, for years, hey, buddy, for the longest time, I decided not to watch, videos that I saw and recommended because I thought it was a part of this really long, crazy series. So I knew that that was the case. I knew that that was a thing. It was just making sure that people understood that we needed to get rid of them for that purpose, because I really felt that it was probably hurting us in that way. So we got rid of the day numbers in the titles and we left them in the lower thirds at the start. And on day 2500 is when we would have done our fan favorites video, and that's when I announced that. And I had talked with you guys before this, obviously, but that's when I announced that we would be moving all the fan favorites to just annual videos. So instead of doing all of the cool moments that you guys want to see every 500 days, because it's a weird arbitrary number, we would just do them every year. At the start of a year, you'd say, hey, let's look back on the last year, and that'd be it. So with that in mind, as of January 1st, I will be putting out the fan favorites, what is it, 5? Fan favorites 5 video, or 5 or 6? 5. The fan favorites 5 video, which will look back on everything. At that point, day numbers are no longer important. I mean, they really aren't. I've been looking at the comments about what people are saying about the day numbers and things like that, and the number one concern that I could see was that everyone was like, well, we need to make sure that we know when fan favorites is coming. And now you don't. That was really the only thing left to know about, was fan favorites. So my thing that I'm bringing to you guys, and I hope you can see it from my point of view, is that they're really just not necessary. So here's what I'm saying, and hear me out. I am still, to this day, even though they're not in the titles, I still keep track of day numbers internally. Like, I'm still keeping track of them. So even though they wouldn't be on screen, I would still know what day it was. And this is useful because then I can be the one that's responsible for bringing up important days, which at that point I think would probably just be like the big round numbers. So on day 3000, I can still tell you because I still know what day it is. But there's really, other than that, there's no other reason for anyone to know what day number it is. Now, feel free to, give me your opinion, whether you think that, okay, yeah, sure, we could get rid of them, or if you have a specific reason for holding on to them. I'd love to hear your thoughts. It's one of those things that whenever we remove them from the titles, there was a few people in the comments for a little bit that were like, I kind of wish they were there, but then ultimately, it didn't matter. I mean, it faded into obscurity. No one really raised a fuss about it long term. Viewership was affected in 0%, 0 ways. It didn't really alter it. So I think that just changing it and getting rid of it out of the lower thirds at the beginning of the video would not really hurt anything. People have used I guess there was an argument at the beginning that people use the day numbers to find the videos, but in the last 6 months when they haven't been there, I mean, people don't really use that now because those day numbers aren't there. People are using the dates. So let me know your thoughts. Like it or love it. Not like it or love it. Those are your only options. Like it or love it. Love it or hate it. Let me know so at least I can get some feedback from you guys before I move forward with any kind of decision like that. All right, so now let's talk about what's happening in the future. And there's just a few things here, but they're all pretty important. Games. Assassin's Creed 3. I don't know why it's so much harder to hold the phone when it's facing the opposite direction. It doesn't make any sense. Assassin's Creed 3 is a game that I want to cover soon. Probably in the spring, maybe in the summer, but probably in the early spring if I can. I have another important question. That I may need more feedback than just from Patreon, but I'm sure Patreon can give me a really good starting thought process. I'm specifically looking for anyone who watches all of the Assassin's Creed content we put out and really enjoys it, because I really want to know your thoughts. Assassin's Creed 3, I am considering maybe doing only the main story, like only the main missions, and not deviating from side quests. I might do a side quest here or there to show off certain things, but not doing 100% run. Historically, in the Assassin's Creed titles, I have done 100% run. Normally, it works out okay. Normally, it works out where it's, I'm doing, maybe a main story mission and then some side quests in each episode. Last time, when I did the most recent Assassin's Creed game I did was Revelations. The problem with Revelations was like the percentage of main story to side quest was ridiculous. There was almost no main story compared to the amount of side quest stuff. And that was a pretty big problem because we would have, a story like mission, and then it would be like deviating all over the place, and the side quest stuff wasn't even all that interesting. So viewership was heavily affected, and it's totally understandable. But I was playing the game blind, and I didn't even know. So I was thinking, maybe this time around I'll just really cover the main story. I know there's going to be some Assassin's Creed diehards that really wants me to cover everything, but looking at it from my point of view, in Revelations at least, the side quest stuff didn't add a whole lot, and it took forever, and it wasn't all that interesting. So, what do you think about covering just the main quest stuff? I know that a trade off idea would be to do episodes that explicitly explains like this will be a story episode, this will be a side quest episode, which is fine. The problem is then you're almost shooting yourself in the foot on the side quest episodes, because then there's going to be people, probably a substantial number of people, that say, "Oh, that's a side quest episode. I'm not going to watch that," and then the viewership for those episodes is like tanked. So it's a weird balancing act, but I'm trying to figure out exactly what to do, and I'd love input specifically from Assassin's Creed fans. Is 3 a game that we could just do mostly the main story and leave it at that? I know that we've historically done 100%, but Revelations was so crazy in the content that I was like, I'm really worried about the future of doing Assassin's Creed games if it's going to be this way. Anyway, also Ocarina of Time, which I know we've talked about before. Ocarina of Time is something that we're going to try and do soon. I don't know what to tell you other than that. I will say that even though we got the 3DS capture device, I don't know if we would do the 3DS version of Ocarina of Time. For one, it would be probably a little difficult because we got to run cables from the capture device across the room and play the 3DS, and it's a little complicated to do. And I also really don't trust that capture software. It's custom made for the thing, and it's a little weird. But the problem for me mostly is just the graphic fidelity. When you're capturing from that device, it's like a 400 by 240 display, and you're blowing that up to 1080. It doesn't look so hot. It would look objectively better playing like the N64 Virtual Console version. It just would. I know that the 3DS is updated and it has different textures and stuff, which is nice, but I think that the N64 version would actually look better, so might do the N64 version. GTA Online, God, my wrist is killing me. This is awful. GTA Online is going to resume in probably February. We're going to be recording new episodes. We have one episode recorded already from a while ago, and it's on the PC. And that's probably going to come out in February, and then we're going to try and record new episodes, hopefully, in January, so we can start regularly releasing them. Our goal, what we'd really like to do, is release 2 a month, but we'll probably start with 1 a month and then build up to 2 if we can handle it. Another thing that's coming soon, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Cyanide and Happiness. It's like a webcomic. They just made a card game called Joking Hazard, and Chaz, who made a online version of Telestrations called Broken Picture Phone, actually made an online version of Joking Hazard. Now the downside is, because of a bunch of copyright stuff, he can't release that to the public. It would obviously immediately affect sales of the card game if people could play the game online. But for recording purposes, it should be fine as a way of like advertising the card game. So we are going to be playing this online version of Joking Hazard at some point in the future for the channel. So if you've played that card game and you find it interesting, Steven and Friends is going to play it. I've never played it, but I know the basic concept, and it should be a lot of fun. All right, so finally, and these are the last two big things. First up, every other year we do a trip with Mark and Rhonda, Mal's dad and stepmom, and this year is our year, and they are thinking of going to Vegas/Zion National Park, and get this, the Grand Canyon. You may recall that we took a road trip back in 2014 and we attempted to see the Grand Canyon and we couldn't. And it sounds like we may actually finally get to see it. So if that happens, it would be in May. So in May, it sounds like Mal and I will be going with them to, Vegas and the Grand Canyon. And what's interesting is it actually would be a big family trip. So it wouldn't just be Mark and Rhonda. It would be a lot of Mallory's extended family. So a lot of them would be in the videos and be hanging out. It should be a lot of fun. And now, the final note of this video, I know this video has been going on a while, final note of this video, and a really, really big thing for us. Recently, and this all started with a Q&A question. Recently, there was a Q&A question for a few months ago that was like, hey, you guys are really busy. Do you still, do date nights and things like that? And Mal and I answered that question. We tried to answer this truthfully as possible. And when we answered it, it was basically like, well, no. And our relationship is not struggling. It wasn't struggling then. It's certainly not struggling now. But it was a bad realization. Like, we are really busy, and we are making steps to improve that. And I feel like we definitely have. Shifting some of the work over to Dan not only helps Dan, it helps us, and it frees us up to be able to do special things like that. So that helped us realize that. There's a vlog coming out where we take a date night and go to Brook Green Gardens for the Night of 1,000 Candles, and that was nice also. But we decided that maybe we should do something a little more special. So Mao and I decided to take a cruise. We have only ever been on a cruise once, and the cruise was when we were in Greece a year ago, 2 years ago, I forget. When we were in Greece, as part of like the little island hopping thing. So it was not like a cruise. It was just kind of like a ship with some stuff on it. We would be taking like an actual cruise, and we are going to be taking the cruise in late February, I think is when it is. I don't actually remember now. But we're going to be doing a cruise, which I think would be fun. Now, we were talking to Alex and Haley about this, and it sounded like something that they would also like to do. So we decided that we would kind of do. It's not a couples cruise. It's not like an adult couples cruise or anything. It's just I guess it's Carnival or Royal Caribbean. I don't know which company it is because I can't remember anything. It's like a family cruise, but we decided we kind of turned it into like maybe like not a retreat. I hate calling it like a couples retreat, because in my mind that's like, things are bad and you're trying to fix them, and it's not that. It's just we enjoy each other's company. It's like maybe we should do something special for ourselves, because every time we do a trip, we're doing it either for work or we're super busy with a bunch of other stuff. We went and visited family with for Mao, and we were busy with all the family. Maybe it'd be nice to do a trip where we relax. So we are going to be taking a cruise, and Alex and Haley are actually going to be joining us. So we are going to be going to LA in late February, taking a cruise with them for, it's only a few days, like it's 5 days, I guess, a 5-day cruise, and then we'll be in LA for another few days. So that's the big announcement. That's also like the first major trip of 2017, and I am okay with the fact, for one, because I think we do need to relax, and I think that would be a nice little thing. I've never taken a cruise. We sent my parents on one a few years ago, and they loved it, and they loved the idea that everything was just kind of included, which I also enjoyed. It's probably a lot cheaper than trying to go somewhere and do something, because you have your room and your activities and your food all just in one price. But in addition to being able to do that, I was more okay with the idea because of the laptop, because I've been editing vlogs on the laptop and it can handle them. So I may not be doing a ton of editing while we're on the cruise specifically to relax, but in the next few days after that, when we're in LA, I can just chill out and work a little bit, and that made me okay with the idea. So that's the big announcement. I'm super excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're still going to be vlogging. It's just we're going to try not to do I'm going to try not to do any editing at all if I can pull myself away from work and just relax. That's going to be the objective. But the four of us will be doing that in late February, and it'll be fun. So January is going to be just kind of relaxing. I mean, there's a lot of work to do, but at least we're not going anywhere. No one's coming here. We can probably get some work done. All right, so that was a really long video. How long was it? Can I check? Oh, wow. Yeah, that was a super long one. I think last month was also super long, so you've had 2 super long ones in a row. But, I mean, to be fair, there's been so much going on. And like I said at the very beginning of this video, it feels like things have not stopped around here since the hurricane. I mean, it was just the hurricane hit. I mean, we were at Chef Con, and then we came back from Chef Con. We had a hurricane. Steph and Steve came. There's probably several other events right there that I'm not even remembering. And it's just probably like every single week something has been going on. And it's nice that now we're into January, and it's like, oh, you have the entire month, and you can just work and get stuff done and try and catch up. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Be sure to let me know about the questions I asked about day numbers and also Assassin's Creed 3. Those are the main things, but if you want to comment on anything else, you're certainly more than welcome to. As always, leave your comments on this Patreon post, and I will get back to them. I have been a little busy recently, but now that things are slowing down, I should be able to get to them. I've been behind on some emails and some Patreon stuff. So if you're watching this and you're saying, hey, I haven't gotten access to, or I haven't got my role on Discord, or I haven't gotten this or that, just give me another day or two, because that'll be starting to come up. I've been very busy with Alex and Haley here recording Cat World. It's not called Cat World, Super Mario 3D World, and that's one of the reasons I haven't been able to pay full attention to that. But now that everything's back to normal, it should be good. Once again, thanks for watching. I hope you had a fantastic Christmas and New Year's. As always, thank you so much for supporting us. None of this would be possible without your help, and 2017 is going to be a good year. It's going to be a really good year. I already, like, just in the game selection for Steven Plays, I'm excited. Mal's already got some ideas for paintings for 2017, and it's really exciting. The vlog will catch up, I promise you, this year. Probably, hopefully sooner than later, but just keeping my fingers crossed and working as hard as I can. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next month. Oh, and let me quickly show you, since I've got you here. Ow, I stepped on a box. That's the lamp. We got a lamp today, and that's the lamp. And then we also got this thing, which is like a little table that like sits in front of the couch, so you can put food on it and stuff, because Mal and I tend to eat at the couch, and the problem is there's nowhere to like put food. So we have like the table here, but that's only a mildly good solution. It'd be a lot better if we could have like an actual table. So that's what we did. And then finally, bring in here. Can I open this?
Yeah.
Hi.
Sorry, they were messing with stuff when you were trying to.
Oh, I appreciate it. Hi, little buddy. Were you being bad? You were being bad. And then finally, I forget what I was going to say in here. Oh, I think I was going to show off the shelves. I don't think that there was all the shelves up last time, and now 4 of them are up. We still have 1 more to do. I think, with any luck, we're actually going to get to it tonight. Okay, that is it. Thank you for watching, and leave your comments, and we'll see you in a month. And I'm going to hopefully get some actual sleep tonight.